Let's go ahead and silent this. No interruptions in 2021. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and happy new year. I feel like I was never gonna say those words ever again. I feel like 2020 felt like the longest year of my life, or of everyone's life. So I'm happy to say happy new year. Not that this year is going to change anything that has happened in the past, but I am such in a good place in my life. I feel like everything that happened obviously happened for a reason. My life was slowed down so much that I was able to work on myself. I remember uploading my first video of 2020 and I said that 2020 was going to be my year. Obviously I meant it in a different way. I was manifesting that I was gonna work a lot. I didn't know that I was gonna have to work on myself a lot, which I'm really happy for and I'm really grateful. I know last year tested a lot of people, brought so much closure, and I would like to say that a lot of good things came out of 2020 because I'm in such a happy place with myself and where my life is. Is there a lot of things that I need to work on still? Absolutely. I don't know why I'm just going off, but I just felt like I needed to say that to you guys being my first video. I'm really happy and blessed that everybody in my family is healthy. I'm really happy to be here and filming this video. I don't know what happened, but I woke up wanting to film a green eyeshadow look as my first video. So here I am. This is the look that I am going to be showing you guys how to create. I hope you guys enjoy this video. So with that being said, if you want to see me create this look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so for primer, I'm gonna be using a brand new primer. I know, you guys know I love me my Milk primer, but this one is from Elemis. This is the Superfood Glow Priming Moisturizer. I have been using it for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks, and I really love how glowy and dewy my skin looks. Also, it is a moisturizer, so if you want to skip that moisturizer step, you can. I already put moisturizer on because my moisturizer has SPF, so I'm just gonna apply that right on top, and you see how it just leaves the skin super radiant. I usually do my brows off camera, but because I have new brows, you guys did notice, I am going to fill those in with my brow pencil. And I'm going to use precisely my brow pencil in the shade number 4 by Benefit. I got my brows laminated a few weeks ago and I am so obsessed. I honestly don't really need to fill them in, but I do have like sparse areas like right here where I like to fill them in. But what I like to do is I like to just kind of do small hair strokes to kind of fill that in. And because the brows are laminated, you can see exactly where you need to fill in if you have any sparse areas. And I just go upward to kind of give it that same hair-like effect. And I'll make sure to add Vanessa's info that laminated my brows. All right, so I'm gonna grab my concealer. I'm gonna use my medium 1 custard by NARS. I want to know what you guys did for New Year's. Obviously there wasn't much to do, but I went to my cousin's house. I had a horrible tension headache. I've realized why I get those tension headaches aside from stress. So when I start drinking my green juice, by the way, I already filmed my green juice video, so that should be going up very soon. I know I owed it to you guys last year, but you know what? We're just not gonna bring that up, okay? So it's filmed. I just have to edit and make it live. What I noticed was that every time I started drinking my green juice, I would skip drinking coffee, and it was a caffeine headache. It starts off like a migraine for me, and then it just lingers around until I have a cup of coffee. I didn't do much on New Year's. I pretty much just like spent it on my cousin's couch, waited for the countdown, and then I went to bed. Anthony, on the other hand, is living his best life, playing video games. All right, so now that we have the brows all done, we're gonna move on to foundation. I'm going to be using the PatMcGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation in the shade medium 16, and this foundation is really lightweight. I do put a generous amount of this on, and as of lately I've been applying this foundation with an actual brush. This is the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush, and I like to just do a few pumps of it and then start stippling it on to the skin. Because this foundation is really sheer, I just like to go in first with a brush and then go in with my beauty blender. And you guys know I usually like a full coverage foundation, but because I have really been taking care of my skin, I don't mind a light to medium coverage. Like, never thought I'd say those words. I've been wearing this foundation and you can kind of still see my skin through it. Like, I feel like you can still see it, and I don't mind it. And then I use less foundation on my forehead as well. The only thing about the brush is that it does take a little longer, but I do like the finish of it as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you prefer to use a brush or a beauty blender. I feel like I'll never get rid of my beauty blender, especially for like my full coverage moments. I feel like a brush is just not gonna do it, and it's a lot faster for me. Because this foundation is a little bit more sheer underneath the eyes, you can definitely see the pigmentation. I don't know if you guys can see the little purpleness in here. I've been waking up really early the last couple of days and going to sleep really late. We need to cover these bad boys up, and for that I do use a beauty blender, and I'm tapping it super light in just this area. And I used my Shape Tape concealer in the shade Tan by Tarte. In those little areas that I feel like it does look a little streaky, I do go over it with the beauty blender to kind of smooth it out. Okay, so now to contour. I'm gonna use my Studio Fix. This is the Soft Matte Foundation Stick in the shade NW47. I'm gonna do a cream contour. I'm gonna pick up a flat brush. This is the Morphe M124 brush to go down the side of my nose. And I've also been kind of defining my lips as well. And to blend out, I am gonna go in with a dual fiber brush. And then I'm using the Sigma Dual Fiber Powder Blush F15. And I'm gonna keep it right here. I just find that the dual fiber brush just really blends out the cream a lot smoother, and it doesn't interrupt the foundation. See how the definition is coming along? Okay, so to blend out my nose, I'm going to be using this Morphe E18 brush. Because I want the definition to stay in its place, I'm using a pencil brush so it doesn't like blend out too much. Now to highlight, I'm going to be using my Hourglass Vanish concealer in the shade Sepia, and I'm going to place it like right down the side of the nose. When it comes to the forehead area, I like to just make sure that I don't go over my brows and kind of keep the same shape. We're just gonna create a line down the bridge of the nose. And then with our beauty blender, we're just gonna go in and blend that out. And try your best not to mesh the concealer too much into the contour, because then you can lose the definition. So in like around the nose area, I really try to stay within this area and not push the concealer too far up. I didn't even ask you guys, what do you guys think of my brows? Do you guys like them? Do you guys want me to just bring back my old brows? I'm low-key really obsessed with my brows. The fact that I don't have to do much, I just have to brush them up in the morning and at night, and I feel like they're just a lot softer. I'm gonna do one pump of the foundation just around the perimeter to kind of blend everything together. So for my nose, I'm gonna be using this ColourPop brush number E9, and I am just going to press the concealer in and just lightly blend it out into the contour. And then I'm gonna grab my beauty blender and then tap contour. To set under the eyes, I'm gonna use the Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder. I'm gonna use the Morphe M501 brush. It's just a fluffy brush like this. And we're gonna start setting. And I just like to set the areas where I highlighted and then lightly set everything else. And next, what I like to do is I like to grab a little bit of the translucent powder and then pat it on my hand and then set everything else to really seal. Moving on to actually baking, I'm going to use the Veil translucent powder and the new Laura Mercier translucent honey. And I'm going to do the same step that I did when I applied my concealer. I'm going to stay right underneath the contour line and bring it in. And I'm using a pressing motion. I feel like that kind of helps really seal the under eyes. And then just using the translucent honey, we're just going to place it right underneath the contour. Don't forget the bridge of the nose. This is what the translucent honey looks like. So it's obviously a little bit more yellow based, and the translucent is obviously just white. So that's why I like mixing both of them to brighten underneath the eyes. I'm going to use this Hourglass dual brush, this one right here, and I'm going to start pressing in the powder down here. I don't like to leave it on for too long because then it leaves like a straight line and it's really hard to kind of buff out. So once you've pressed it in, you can go ahead and buff it out. Moving on to bronzer, we're going to be using the Alamar Cosmetics. This is the Brighten and Bronze Complexion Trio in the shade Medium Tan. This is what it looks like. Now we're going to be using this color called Soltera to bronze up the skin. I'm going to be using this Luxie 522 tapered highlighter brush. And because I'm more of an olivey undertone, I do like to use warmer tone bronzers because cooler tone bronzers on my cheek area tend to get really muddy. So that's why I always like to use a warmer tone. And you just want to follow the perimeter of the face to kind of warm the skin up. For my nose, we're going to be using the Bahama Mama bronzer by the Balm. And I'm going to just use this Morphe B38 brush. A really old brush. I don't know if they still have it. But it has a little tip, so it's going to fit perfectly in this area. This is the only area that I use a cooler tone bronzer. So for blush, we're going to use the Isn't It Peachy blush palette by Makeup Obsession. And I'm using this Marc Jacobs, the blush brush. And I'm literally going to go like this. I just like the combination of all of the blushes. And then just pop it right on the apple of the cheek and bring it back. I always like to put a generous amount of blush on because by the time I'm done with my makeup, I feel like the blush is gone. So I always like to put a generous amount. And if I do have a lot of blush towards the end, I just go ahead and buff it out with a powder brush. Moving on to the eyes, we are going to prime with the P. Louise base. This is the Rumor one. You can use any primer. I just personally like this one just because it really makes the eyeshadow pop. And since we are doing a green eyeshadow, I want to make sure that it does stand out. And I'm going in first with a patting motion, and I'm using this Luxie 235 blending brush. I like to use a fluffy, firm brush because I can pack it on and also blend it at the same time. And then just grab some translucent powder, just set it. Just make sure that you apply the translucent powder towards the end as well. Sometimes I tend to forget and the base dries out and it's hard to blend out. Why not start off the year by using green, because you know what green represents. We're going to be using the Cutting Edge palette by Dose of Colors. We're going to be using Cameo, which is this really pretty color right here. I'm going to start off by using this Dominique Cosmetics DS04, the Crease Blur brush. We're going to place that right in the crease. This is also something new that I've been doing. You guys know I usually go in with the transition shade first, but you know what? I just decided to try something new and it just looks a lot smoother and the transition is just effortless. And because I like that elongated look, I have also been bringing my eyeshadow kind of upwards towards like the tail of my brow and then connecting it here as well. Alright, so now picking up this color called Edgy, we're going to be using this Laura Mercier. This is the Finishing Ponytail brush. We're going to place that right above Cameo, which is the darker shade, and it just blends those two colors together. I am blending it upwards towards the brow bone and then out towards the tail to give me like that elongated look. We're gonna go back in with the P. Louise Rumor 1, and I'm actually gonna use that brush that comes in the palette, and we are going to place the base right on the lid. I always like to go a little higher because it ends up transferring when I apply the base. When I fold, you see how it goes above my lid space. I'm going to be using these two colors by MAC. I'm actually going to mix these two together. This is the MAC 239 brush. I'm going to pick up the skin tone color first and then go in with the lighter shade. And then we're going to press that onto the lid. And I'm just following what I already created. I wanted the lid color to be almost like a skin tone color. So that's why I'm mixing these two together. And I'm going back in with the lighter color because I want the color to be a little lighter. Moving on to eyeliner. We're gonna pick up this color called Rule Breaker. We're just gonna pick up an angle brush. And we are going to spray it. I'm going to use the Hangover RX 3-in-1. And because I did my eyes a little bit elongated, we are going to bring the eyeliner a little higher. And I'm not going to bring it all the way in. Just make it as thin as possible towards the inner part. For mascara, I'm going to use Legit Lashes by Huda Beauty, and I'm going to use the volume side. For lashes, Beauty Bird launched her own lash line, so we're going to be using these in the style Gemini. I love the style and I love how flexible they are on the eye. They don't feel stiff at all. She also did launch another style and a brown and black eyeliner slash adhesive. I'm not going to use that today because obviously I'm not wearing black or brown eyeliner. I use the House of Lashes adhesive. What I've been doing lately is letting my actual mascara dry before I put on my lashes, because I found that every time I would go in with my mascara, I would go directly into applying my lashes, and my lashes would stick to the false lashes and they just started looking really bulky, and I just didn't like that. All right, so for the inside of my waterline, I'm going to be using the Killer Liner. This is by Too Faced. It's the Total Control 36-Hour Waterproof Eyeliner. This is in the shade Killer Cashmere, and as you can tell, I've already used it. I wanted to test it out, and it really does last in the waterline. Back to using the Cutting Edge palette. I'm going to use this Dual Fiber Blend E41 brush by Sigma. I'm going to pick up Edgy. I'm going to run that down the bottom of the lash line. Using an angle brush, I'm going to go back in with Cameo and then place that right underneath the lash line. I'm going to grab my Hourglass dual brush and I'm just going to dust everything off underneath the eye area. I want to get towards the inner part. I like to brush it upwards towards the contour. Before I do my bottom mascara, I'm gonna apply a little bit of this Tatcha Satin Skin Mist. So this is the newest spray that they have aside from the Dewy Mist. This one's a satin finish. And because I have a matte eyeshadow, I just cover the eyes so none of the spray lands on the eyeshadow. To highlight, I'm gonna use the Master Chrome by Maybelline. This is in the shade Molten Gold. I'm gonna go in with a blending brush. We're gonna apply that right in the high points of the cheeks. Being Drugstore, this highlight. All right, so moving on to the lips. We're gonna be using Vive lip liner and lipstick. This is in the shade Bark. It's gonna be like a deeper, like a real true chocolate color. This brand was created by Jamie Genevieve. If you don't follow her, she's Jamie Genevieve on Instagram and on YouTube. We're gonna be applying Treasure lipstick. Such a good formula and color. I don't know what it is about the lip liner, but the lip liner really does stay on the lips. I'm just gonna go back in and kind of blend the lipstick and the lip liner together. Then to add a little bit of gloss, we're gonna be using the ColourPop. This is the Luxe Lip Oil in Skinny Dip. It's literally the same color as the lipstick. All right, so this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I also have been thinking of filming this hairstyle hairstyle, because I always get a lot of questions on how I get my hair like this. My hair is definitely not this curly. I have like wavy-ish hair. Some parts of my hair definitely do get curlier than others, but to get it this curly, I definitely have to use tools. So let me know in the comments down below if you would like a video on this hair as well. Also, I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. I also posted a reel on Instagram. Go ahead and check it out. And without further ado, I will see you guys in my next video.